All right, folks. Since the voting season is, I wouldn't want to say over because if I'm not mistaken, they're still doing recounts in Florida. I could be wrong about that, but I've been more concerned about recent weather reports than actual politics. But I mean, all right. Well, I talked about this briefly in a recent live stream, and then when I was in the barbershop, one of the few places I talk politics, of course. I was, just having a discussion about the whole I voted sticker selfies people do and the recent election or I think it was midterm elections. I could be wrong. I mean, personally, I did one of those, mail them what you vote, mail it in early. I just don't want to deal with the crowds. I mean, to be honest, we live in a time when, definitely voting, and I'm not saying voting has never been important, but now it's like, hey, this is really a time that shows every vote counts. And given the fact that there was a huge lack of a turnout for the presidential election, and now people see how bad it is. Now, this video isn't me saying, pro Trump, anti Trump. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just talking about a majority of how, the society feels today. People just are now more awake or woke to the sense of, okay, I need to get my ass to the polls to make a difference. Even if the person doesn't win, you want to at least be a part of history. So on the day of the election, or the day of the election, everybody is posting, I voted and stuff like that. And every media outlet or social media outlet found a way. I mean, even days leading up to the election or even weeks before, emails, voicemails, phone calls, advertisements on TV, YouTube ads. And then, the closer we got to the election, I think on election day, Google even had go vote. And then I remember getting messages on my YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram. You couldn't go online without some form of, media letting you know that you need to go out and vote. And I feel like, even celebrities, were saying, go out and vote, and they were saying go vote for or endorsing a certain politician. And people had mixed feelings about that. I mean, to me, it's kind of like, I am one of the people where I took it the wrong. I didn't really like when people would post like, well, if you don't go vote, then you can go unfollow me and don't talk to me and stuff like that. I feel like that's a bit extreme. Like, just because somebody doesn't vote and you pretty much want to cast them out of your life is as bad as a Christian, and I'm a Christian myself, saying that, oh, because you don't believe in God, I want to have nothing to do with you, so don't even talk to me. I mean, personally, I have friends who are different religions. I mean, that's how it is. I mean, I'm not trying to push my religion on them. They're not trying to push their beliefs on me. But most of these people who are non-believers in my circle are people I've known since childhood. So, yeah. So when people don't vote, I'm not saying that, not voting isn't, something that should be addressed. But I'm just saying that just because somebody doesn't vote, you shouldn't like treat them like an outcast or just belittle them for not doing what they should be doing. I guess it's the best way to put it. My attitude is like, I try not to complain. Maybe the title of this video is going to be why I don't talk politics. It's just like, even if I don't vote, there's going to be backlash. Let's say I do vote and I vote for someone who, a group of people didn't vote for, and like, my person didn't win or they do win. There's going to be a debate. There's going to be an argument. Now, my attitude with this is, when it comes to the posting of the I voted sticker, I did see some memes. Some people were circulating around about, participation awards. Do you want a cookie? Do you want some milk? I actually did laugh at that. But let me just say this much. I did like the sense of camaraderie on the day of the election, because for the most part, everybody was like, go vote and here's my sticker and stuff like that, which does come across as somewhat annoying. But I like that everybody seemed to be joined together for like a common goal, a common cause, which is to go vote. I didn't see too much, if any, endorsement post in terms of, yeah, go vote for so-and-so. It's like, no, just get your butt up and go vote. That's it. I did like the sense that, hey, we got a job to do. We need to make our voices heard. Let's go out, vote, and that's that. That was actually pretty good. I did like that. But then after the results came in, that's when the nasty posts started circulating online where people who I know, it's kind of funny because people talk about that meme or the tweets that go around. Like, if you really want to get to know someone, put them in front of a computer with dial up and then they'll show you who their true nature is or what their true nature is. That's funny and all, but I feel like the real slogan should be a person will show you their true colors if their political candidate loses an election, because they'll just post the most mean-spirited Facebook statuses or tweets or Instagram posts directed against the person that either, beat out their person. And what really gets me is the people who cause the most or make the most noise online in regards to politics, especially after the results come in, are the same people who are like shouting from the top of buildings that, oh, here's 55 reasons why the person I'm endorsing or the person I'm voting for is going to win due to support and what they stand for and yada, yada, yada. So when they lose, then they're really the ones who are like mudslinging. And there are a bunch of people, like, I haven't unfriended, but I definitely unfollowed online just because almost everything out of their mouth is ignorant in regards to something politically involved. So my attitude is, even there have been times where I have not voted. I'm not going to sit up here and preach about voting when there have been times after I turned 18 when I did not vote. So I'm not just going to sit up here and talk like a saint, because there have been times I have not voted. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And I don't really make a lot of political noise on any of my social media because the only times I haven't voted, and yes, to kind of justify my statement about the times I haven't voted, there have been times when I'm going to be completely honest, I have not been informed, and that's not anybody else's fault but my own. Like, I didn't take the time to study, what each politician stood for. Okay, if one person wins over another, will that benefit me and whatnot? What will happen? But because I wasn't informed, in my mind, and I mean, some people in the comments probably jump me for this, but in my mind, I would rather not vote than to vote blindly. That's just the way I looked at it. That's the way it is. So that's my attitude towards the elections I don't vote in, because I didn't feel like, I felt like it's kind of like, with my driver's license, I didn't want to get behind the wheel until I felt ready, or, until I actually put in the effort to do, driving, practice driving and whatnot. And I didn't get my license. I want to be completely transparent. I didn't get my license until right before I was 21. Wait, what? You can ask any of my close friends, my family. I did not like driving. I just hated it. I had no reason to, because being an introvert, I was always a homebody. So until it got to the point where, I was 21, I'm like, let me get my license before I'm 21, before people start talking. But yeah, that's how it was. It's more like, unless I feel like I'm up for it, then I'm not going to do it. So whatever. That's how I feel. So basically, when it comes to like post-election, when the nastiness, and some of the nastiness even occurs on election day or leading up to the election. And what really gets me is the fact that there are only a few people I talk politics with. Obviously, when I'm in the barbershop. At home is iffy because my mom can get like, a bit, it's kind of like, no matter what age you get, you're always your mom's child. So if you disagree with them, it's almost like blasphemy, so to speak. And even when you make a good point, it's like, well, I'm standing by my candidate. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I don't really feel, I'm not saying that, oh, it's dumb to have those conversations with my mom. It's like, I'm not saying that I can't have intelligent conversations, but there are just some people who are stuck in their ways. And hey, if you support one side over the other, that's completely fine. But don't just disregard what I'm saying because you disagree. You can just say that, oh, well, I disagree, but at the same time, you make a good point. That's all I'm saying. And I do have like maybe 3 or 4 close friends I can actually talk to about politics without either one of us, trying to knock each other's heads off. Because talking politics is just like religion. I mean, like the friends I have who aren't believers, we learn from each other. Because sometimes you need to learn about the opposing side. It's not always about being right. It's about learning. That's how I look at it. Politics, religion, whatever the case may be. Just because you don't believe in one side over the other doesn't mean you shouldn't be informed about the other side. Because sometimes that's what helps bridges the gaps between Republicans, Democrats, Christians, atheists, black people, white people, and the list goes on. So really, when it comes down to it, I don't talk politics because usually those talks aren't even talks. They're more like debates, one person or both parties getting huffy, then, you know, somebody posting something ignorant online. And this hasn't happened to me, but I'm just talking to like post election and whatnot. People will post. It's kind of like, you know, what if the shoe fits, wear it. If the post fits, like it, or whatever the case may be. But that's really how it is. So, I mean, if you are one of the people out there that are, if you're a person listening to this who has at least 2 or 3 people in your life that you can talk about this kind of stuff with, then you truly are blessed, because in this day and age when people get easily offended and whatnot, or if you disagree with somebody, you're automatically blacklisted within that social group. It really is good to have somebody to have these conversations with. So, you know, not to use this as a platform to say, you know, do this or do that, but I would just encourage you, if you are informed, then you should go vote. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't vote, but I'm just saying that from my experience, I would just rather not vote if I'm not informed, because I feel like it's a bit ignorant. And yes, people do talk about, and yes, I'm black. If you've been on this live stream if you've been on this channel long enough, if you've seen live streams of me and whatnot and photos, then you know I'm African American or black, basically just black person, that it is very much a, oh God, like during the holiday season, you better not bring up whether or not you voted, or if you voted opposite of a family member, because you'll get the speech about, man, your ancestors did this and that when they couldn't vote, so you could vote. So I will, yes, the way I feel about it is, I completely understand that a couple of generations ago, if not 1 or 2 generations ago, black people didn't have the right to vote, or at least, you know, had civil rights in certain aspects. But I feel like it's an insult to my ancestors for me to just vote blindly because I can, rather than to vote intelligently because I've studied the facts. I've picked one side over the other. It's not necessarily always picking the lesser of, you know, both evils, lesser of 2 evils, but I would rather cast my vote when I'm 100% sure, or at least 75 or more % sure, that the person I'm voting for is the person that I want to vote for, because I've studied the facts, I looked at what they stood for, and that's the person I want sitting in the White House or the Senate or Congress or the governor's mansion, whatever you want to put it. That's just how I feel. So with that being said, folks, this was one of those live videos where unscripted, I just sat back and talked. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I feel like I did try to stay on topic as much as possible while explaining why I feel the way I do about politics. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about politics? Is it even if you don't agree with me, and that's really when it comes to politics, and not just when you're having politic focused discussions, if you don't agree with me, can you at least see where I'm coming from? That's really all I'm asking. So thanks so much for tuning in, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. I promise not every video is like this in regards to politics. This is one of the rare times when I'll just talk about, you know, something news related or something that I feel relates to everybody in some capacity. So thanks so much. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.